Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm continuing my meandering journey down memory lane with DC's Dragonlance run, story 2. It's called Raistlin's Pawn, not Pawn, Pawn. So immediately alarm bells go off. Raistlin, huge character if you're a Dragonlance fan. Very, very significant character in fantasy literature as well. Same team as on the first story, so very much continuing the same vein. Beautiful newsprint again, colors fantastic, cartoonish characterization, looking great. So let's get into this. So it follows the story of this guy, and he's called Kelfarnan, and he's an elf, or rather a dark elf, because he's a troubled guy. He's got darkness in his soul, and his people have rejected him and cast out society. So in Krynn, that's what a dark elf is. And as we can see, the events in this story are set during the time of the Dragonlance Chronicles book, Dragons of Spring Dawning. As you can see, for those that are familiar, we have the return of the good dragons, Silver Dragon flying. So upon his travels, Kelfarnan is captured by some foul sorcery and pulled to the ground off his griffin steed. And there he encounters Raistlin, who by now has taken on the black robes of evil, and upon appearances seems to be serving the Dark Queen Takesis. Or is he? As we shall see, that he has a conversation with Kelfarnan where he recognizes the darkness in Kelfarnan's soul and says that it would be a superb place to hide part of himself within it. And via sorcerous ways and foul magics, that's exactly what he does. He plants a piece of himself inside Kelfarnan. Soon afterwards, we see Raistlin then has no memory of what's just transpired, leaving our hero Kelfarnan hearing voices in his head, being guided by these voices. And his adventures lead him to Palanthas, where he encounters many of the cast of the Dragonlance Chronicles. So we have a few cameos, Tausserhoff, Flint, for example, I believe Lorana and Giltanas as Lorana. Upon his travels, he picks up companions, a gnome called Natch, definitely a techno gnome. And the adventure continues. Again, he's driven by voices. He navigates through scenes and events we've seen in Dragons of Spring Dawning. You've read those books. Ultimately, to bring him to the point where he meets Raistlin again. Some good adventures along the way. Particular favourite, if I just come to it. Great editing, I know. They have a battle with a purple worm in Worm's Lair, which is pretty cool. Those old D&D fans, the purple worm was always something to be feared. But ultimately, Kelfarnan is brought into contact back again with Raistlin, and Raistlin returns that part of himself that's hidden into his mind and reveals that that part is the part that's actually plotting against the very queen he serves. He had to go incognito, and the only way to do that was to hide those foul intentions from the Dark Queen by putting them inside our hero. He also reveals as well at the end of the story that Kelfarnan isn't actually Kelfarnan. He is actually a guy called Thanakan, and Thanakan is the father of Kelfarnan, who killed his son. And in his grief and tragic remorse and despair, he takes on the appearance via magic and identity of his dead son, killed. So, interesting twist there. But the conclusion is very much the conclusion of Dragonlance Chronicles, Dragons of Spring Dawning, which is my problem with it. And it's something I want to just quickly talk. Dragonlance, in terms of telling stories in the Dragonlance world, or whether they be narratives or comics like this, or if you're gaming, if you're setting your RPG on Krynn, you've always got to remember that the player characters are the Mandalorian. They're not Luke Skywalker. Whereas you have Luke Skywalker off doing the kind of universe-defining stuff, the Mandalorian, just kind of on the periphery, doing stuff, occasionally touching in on the events that take place, but it's very much on the outside. And that's where the best stories are kind of navigated in this world. It's very steeped in lore. It's very rigid in terms of its history. So whilst this story does that and offers some interesting character takes, particularly this dude, it does suffer and it depends heavily upon the universe stuff, the events that happen in the novel. If you've not read the novels, you'll find this less enjoyable, um, and you'll be wondering what's happening. But overall, a good read. Thanks for listening. I've been Dan. Cheers.